DerpyCon 2025, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. DerpyCon was a multi-genre convention held from October 31st through November 2nd, 2025 at the Hyatt Regency, New Brunswick in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Let's see how they did. I do have a special note here. I have a conflict of interest. I was a part of a group that had guest status and provided panel content for the convention. I will not grade the convention due to this conflict of interest, but I'd like to provide my feedback as I have been an attendee of this convention since its beginning. For the good, I felt the Artist Alley relocation worked. They moved the Artist Alley from upstairs to downstairs and took part of video gaming away. We'll talk more about that later, but still, I felt that the crowd did stay with the Artist Alley. It was usually reasonably busy in there, and it worked out. With the Artist Alley moving downstairs, it allowed the dealer's room to spread out and allowed for easier navigation. I appreciate that a con the size of DerpyCon has guidebook. It made navigating the weekend easily, and when there was schedule changes, they were sent down to the guidebook in a timely manner. We'd like to thank the convention's tech support also. We had an unexpected issue at another convention when our laptop didn't output video, and it repeated itself here, and we really didn't know where to start. We did try to troubleshoot it on our own. With their help and a couple of spare minutes, we actually figured out there was a disabled driver, and enabling it, we had video outputting from the laptop again. We'd really like to thank the convention's tech support for their help with this one. And the convention returned to having some discounted parking at the hotel again. It was a big thing for attendees. It knocked a few bucks off parking, which can be a major difference. For the bad, nothing was downright terrible. For the ugly, what should have been better? I thought some of the video game room changes did not succeed this year. Yes, even with the lost space, they still had a nice selection of Japanese arcade machines and gaming consoles. Unfortunately, it seems like they lost the pinball machines this year, and some other things which I felt made the room take a step backwards. I thought the dealer's room variety suffered this year. It felt like they had several dealers with the same merchandise. Some of the dealers should have been down the Artist Alley, and there were no anime or manga dealers this year. It felt like Friday and Sunday had rather soft attendance. Saturday didn't have this problem, it was busy all day. Friday was slow, I could tell that by panels attendance. Panels were lightly attended. And Sunday was an interesting day because it felt like attendance was off less than Friday, but people were not buying autographs from the voice actors. The dealer's room was quiet. The Artist Alley, however, was busy, video gaming was busy, and panels were well attended. I'm not sure why this occurred. Some of it could have been the economy based on my discussions with other attendees. Some of it might have been other events going on in the tri-state area, or some of it might have just been this was how this year went. It felt like this year, the depth of content panel curation might have not been the best. It felt like some panel ideas that were taken should have been a little bit more fleshed out and maybe had a little bit more practice. It was also noticed that several panels did not occur. It seems like some panelists were missing their times, which is kind of unusual. This con is usually a little bit better with that. So it felt like the depth of content and panels were a little bit off this year. Overall, it seems like DerpyCon had an off year. I'm not quite sure why. It could be any one of the several reasons we discussed earlier in the video. The dealer's room space and Artist Alley relocation was successful, and actually raises more questions because what if Artist Alley was brought back upstairs to replace tabletop gaming and move tabletop gaming downstairs? There was a lot of discussion among my group of friends that it felt like Artist Alley being upstairs would be a better decision with the space that is up there, where tabletop could go downstairs and maybe thrive there with the rest of the gaming. What's my final grade? As I discussed earlier, I will not be grading the convention due to my conflict of interest. I do feel DerpyCon had a little bit of an off 2025 for unknown reasons. I'm hoping in 2026 we'll see a little bit of an increased attendance again, and thanks for watching.